All right, get on board. We're one day out. You know, there's a 15-game card on Thursday night, tomorrow night. Best games, Boise
15.
State, 15 games. I mean, there are some really bad games in there. There's a Wyoming-Akron game.
Oh,
God.
The Zips going out to Laramie?
No, I think it's in my hometown of Akron, I think. But that sucks. That's a bad game. But Thursday night, you got Boise State, USF, South Florida.
That'll be interesting.
Not a bad game.
Yeah.
Boise State, a 6-point favorite. Ohio plays Rutgers in a decent game. East Carolina, NC State in the Battle of Carolina. Nebraska, Cincinnati. Those are your highlighted Thursday games.
I think that's in, speaking of Travis Kelce, I think that's in Arrowhead this year.
Yeah. Travis Kelce went to Cincinnati, of course, way back when. Matt Rule in year 3. So one note for you. You don't. Somebody just texted and said, you guys are going to make everybody go broke gambling in crypto. Listen, we can't lead a horse to water. You don't have to do it. We're just putting it out there. Last 10 years in non-conference matchups in top 20 battles of top 25 teams, the favorites have gone 49, 32, and 1. They win 61% of the games in regular season. Boise State favored. And then we get into the weekend. Ohio State still a 1.5 up on Texas. Clemson, 4.5 over LSU. Notre Dame, 2.5 over Miami at Miami. So there you go. That's the weekend. We'll make our picks to click on Friday on the show.
Yeah, some great Friday games, too. Georgia Tech going out to Boulder. There's another one I'm forgetting right now. Waco. The Baylor's hosting Auburn.
That's the biggest game. Are you going to that?
TBD. Yes.
Come on, man. You got a credential. Get up to Waco and see.
I got to get up in the morning, though. We got a big day at Doc's backyard the next day.
We'll see. Press box, the whole bit.
We take the lady to the airport in the morning. It's a few things. Yeah, I do want to go. We'll see.
DMAC Stadium.
I do want to go.
Okay, so this says I count 17 games on Thursday. My bad. I counted 15. I must have missed one, but we gave you the biggest ones. That'll be tomorrow. But here's the college football news is this. We know Ryan Day and the Buckeyes playing the Longhorns coming up on Saturday. Huge game. We'll hear from Ryan Day coming up. Also, we're going to get an insider from our number 3 team in our countdown, the Clemson Tigers, coming up at the bottom of the hour. But this whole Dave Portnoy mess is interesting because during this offseason, you should know, a couple of years ago, ESPN took the step to hire Pat McAfee, who was just doing a podcast that was very popular. ESPN hired him. Pat McAfee now does the show through the middays, and he's on College Game Day, bringing a younger audience, bringing some edge. And, Lee Corso riding off into the sunset. This is what Pat McAfee brings with Nick Saban and Kirk Herbstreit and those guys doing the meat and potatoes football. So Fox has answered with Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports. And he's more controversial than Pat McAfee was, right?
Yeah.
Pat McAfee gets along with everybody. He's he'll do some things that are kind of off the wall, but but Dave Portnoy has kind of cut his teeth on being very against him.
He's polarizing.
And
Pat McAfee, to his credit, he's played in the NFL and college.
Yeah,
right?
he's a punter in the National Football League. He brings some street cred. But Portnoy, let's be honest, when he started was, chauvinistic stuff, a lot of cheerleaders and all the kind of stuff that goes on, whatever. That was, look, he's done great. He's a great businessman. He's grown that brand into a huge brand, and now Fox wants to partner with him. Well, turns out Fox has made that decision, but it doesn't sound like they talked to the Big Ten about it. So listen to Dave Portnoy yesterday when upon word that he got a couple weeks ago or recently that he and his Barstool team would not be allowed in Columbus for the game on Saturday. Like, you're banned.
Right.
Well, on the field is where Fox does their big noon broadcast with Urban Meyer and Matt Leinart and all those guys.
70 of them on the cast.
Yeah, the biggest cast in sports.
90 people on
Well,
it.
he's not allowed in the building, so I guess he can't be on it, right? Well, here's a little bit from Dave Portnoy yesterday. He went to his phone and had this to say about Ohio State. He claims it because he's a Michigan fan too. Let's not.
He's a Michigan
forget.
grad, yes.
He helped the Michigan Wolverines recruit Bryce Underwood, their quarterback, and pay him. Well, here's a little bit from Dave.
Michigan broke them. Woody Hayes is rolling around in his grave. If you can't beat them, ban them. They're broken. It's a broken team, a broken school. Oh, national championship this, national championship that. One man this face, and they start crying.
We broke them. We broke them.
This plays right into his bits.
Oh, I know. Well, here's Ross.
It just does.
Well, I wanted to play this for some commentary because Ross Dellinger is one of my favorite insiders to follow from Yahoo Sports, and he says this isn't just about Ohio State and maybe these providing cover for the Buckeyes, because let's also remember Dave Portnoy during the Connor Stallion scandal and Jim Harbaugh made the claim that it was Ryan Day's brother who was pushing the narrative of Connor Stallions, and he was one of the ones that pushed this thing and made it the big story it was. And this is back before the investigation was in, and Michigan fans were still denying that there was anything going on. But he brought Ryan Day's brother into it and his family into it, and so you can understand Ryan Day saying, wait a second, I mean, you can have opinions about me, but leave my family out of this. And so, but here's Ross Dellinger yesterday saying, no, this is not just about Ohio State. The Big Ten's not a fan of this.
I think everybody's aware, probably most are aware, that Dave Portnoy is sort of a lightning rod. I think that's what he enjoys being, and that's what the whole deal is kind of built on. And so it has been, fairly critical of specifically Michigan's big rival in the Big Ten. Been fairly critical too of, by the way, of the Big Ten commissioner and people in the Big Ten in general at the Big Ten office. So throughout the whole Connor Stallions situation. So this was announced in mid-July, and by late July, I think many people in the league, certainly some in Columbus, were and people in Chicago were expressing sort of their concern over having Dave Portnoy on the Fox Big Noon Kickoff. And as we've learned the last 24, 48 hours, there was an original first report from Office Sports that Dave Portnoy was banned from Ohio Stadium for this weekend's game against Texas, and Ohio State AD Ross Bjork and the Big Ten both sort of released statements to us saying that he was not banned and that it's Fox's decision not to have Dave Portnoy on the main stage. And if you're not on the main stage, you're not usually inside the stadium.
All right, so there's him saying it's coming from Chicago to, is that coverage for Ohio State? Your thoughts, Noah?
I mean, listen, Dave Portnoy, he is, like I said, a polarizing figure. I always thought it was kind of odd that they're adding him to this cast anyways. I think they're kind of doing their own betting portion of the show where they're bringing the Barstool personalities, which have a huge following, right?
Well, let's also remind folks that aren't following this closely, not only did they hire Portnoy and Barstool to do the game day stuff, also, they blew out Emmanuel Acho and all those afternoon shows that they were hosting on Fox Sports 1. And Joy Taylor and all those, Skip Bayless and
Paul
those
Pierce.
And the expectation was Barstool is going to help fill the programming there. So it's not just the football. So it's a bigger role, whether that's a good decision programming wise or not, and it's going to bring audience and edge and everything Fox is about. Or trying to be about. Go younger. Everybody's trying to get younger in this day and age. And whatever you think of Barstool, they bring the young crowd, just like Pat McAfee did for the aging ESPN demographic. So that's what it's about. I don't watch Dave Portnoy. I don't watch Barstool. I never have. But at the same time, it seems reckless of Fox to get in bed with him when the Big Ten doesn't like him. And the Big Ten is their meal ticket to college football.
Right. And that's kind of what I was going to get to here is, I think that the fact that they brought him in, they're trying to get a younger demographic. You see what they did with Pat McAfee. People like Pat McAfee. People have opinions about him. He might be a little much, but he's bringing energy to that show, and I think he's needed on College Game Day. That was kind of getting dull. And now they're going to go a whole route, but different route with bringing in Barstool that already has a fan base, a huge fan base too. Was the biggest podcast in sports until obviously Travis Kelce came on board. I think it's kind of on Fox here in the Big Ten in general where they did not go about this the correct way.
Well, it doesn't sound like Fox consulted the Big Ten before making this hire. Because the Big Ten is now saying Fox. Because it was announced in July, as Ross Dellinger said, and then the Big Ten's like, wait a second, you did what?
Because Fox Big Noon Kickoff, a lot of your games are in Big Ten stadiums.
Well, including the first of them were in Columbus last year.
Right.
And if you're banned from Columbus, then this isn't going to go good. So I don't know what's going to happen. It doesn't faze me or me personally, but if it does you can have a comment, 512-834-1027. Is it soft of the Buckeyes to ban him? They say they didn't. This is a Big Ten decision.
Right.
There are those.
Dave's going to say that anyways because that's his whole bit. I mean, that's his thing. So
because he hates Ohio State, and Ohio State hates him, and that's
right.
I'm sure
Michigan alumni.
I'm sure that's part of why Fox hired him because
yeah.
Fox wants that lightning rod. There's no question about that. But now they've got to deal with, and this is probably good for their pregame show. That are they gonna? Will Fox have him on satellite? Bring him in on Zoom? And,
because I'll be honest,
because he can't be in the building.
I like the Fox broadcast, and especially I like Joel Klatt, Gus Johnson. You can have your opinion, whatever. But I will say this: they are pretty. Although there's some good insight, it's kind of dull. So at least they're adding drama to it if that's what they want.
Yeah, I'm not
a little dull.
The thing that jumps out as soon as you turn on the Fox Big Noon Kickoff is there's not enough room at the table.
Right. There's like legit. I think there's 8 guys.
How many
there.
people does it take to do a pregame show? I know ESPN's got a big crew, but they kind of spread them out.
Right.
Fox puts them all at one table.
I think there's 7 or 8.
Meyer, and there's Mark Ingram.
There's Charles Woodson, Brady Quinn.
It's everybody.
I mean, they got every school represented.
I always think, like in the old joke, how many Aggies does it take to screw in a light bulb here? I mean, good night. Sorry, Aggies. That was a stray bullet. I'm sorry. That's how the joke goes. How many? I don't know. I mean, gosh, it's just a pregame. Give me a couple players, give me a coach or two, and give me an analyst. I don't need the whole crew. But now Dave Portnoy. I was going to get really crowded if Portnoy was going to be there. But I'm assuming, and this is kind of the Jerry Jones theory. Stir the trouble, and guess what? If everybody tunes in, are they going to tune in to see if Portnoy shows up on?
We're talking about
on
it,
TV?
right? Yeah, we are talking about it.
Game itself will take center stage, but it's the battle because College Game Day, obviously, that's going to get huge ratings on Saturday in the farewell to Lee Corso. That'll be his last game. He started his live broadcasting with those College Game Days at Ohio State way back when.
Right.
So there'll be a lot of ceremony there. So Fox is trying to do something because they just get dwarfed. I remember when Texas played Alabama here in Sark's second year. That was 2022. It was an 11 o'clock kick, much like this game is. And I've done pre-games at Texas for decades now. I pulled in at 6:15 to go on at 7 to get prepped and ready. And the parking garage where I parked for the media was already packed.
Yeah.
That place was on downtown Austin at 6 in the morning was on fire. It was crazy. But that game was so big with Nick Saban, and at that point, Alabama, hadn't lost the games to Georgia. They were the royalty. They were the Beatles. So everybody was there. It was huge. Big, one of the great crowds for certainly a day game Texas ever had. Well, both Big Noon, Fox, and Game Day were there. And we were sitting there doing our broadcast right outside the stadium. And there's people from Fox coming around trying to beg people that are watching our show to come to the Big Noon thing. They're giving them like free Wendy's coupons. They're like, come to the Big Noon. Like apparently they didn't have anybody because they were down by under the tower.
Oh boy!
And Game Day was on the other side, like on the soccer field or whatever, and that's where all the crowd was. And so they couldn't get in. They're like begging people to come to our pregame. Please come. Here's free Wendy's or something or whatever it was. I was like, yeah, that's
come
not
listen
good.
to Urban Meyer talk, please.
Yeah, and so they're still fighting that battle, and this is what that's about. It's a sideshow to the game itself, but it is what it is.